Hello again. Thank you for joining me here on this another episode of Vegan Police TV. This one continuing on the question and answer bit that I was going through. This one is the another question from a viewer relating to the vegans and pets. Should they or shouldn't they? Now, jumping straight into this one, this should be a playlist, and so you can see the other questions that were asked. Now, this one, I made the statement is that, do you agree to having them having their reproductive organs removed as a control mechanism and keep them in captivity in your suburban prison? Again, you have to take a look at the concrete case. This is not a problem with a deontological perspective. It avoids to deal with reality. Many cats, for example, do not see their home as a prison. If you put them in the garden, they will just turn back and run into the house. Vegan cheetah's cat, for one example. Why? Because they like it. Prison is, again, an oversimplifying term. There is only one right that can be set without getting inconsistent. Animals should have the right to be taken into consideration regarding their interests. For example, the right not to be property or to live independent is not suitable for strongly disabled people. Francione and co. avoid to take this problem seriously. For Francione, it is basically immoral to have kids until they become independent. His prevarications for this problem are ludicrously bad. There are cases where you can honestly say it is in the interest of the animal to be neutered, because it is the only way to fulfill more basic needs like partnership and social life, etc. This is true for rabbits, for example. If you want to abolish pet ownership for a good reason, see question 1, and this is talking about property and things like that. But you have to take care of, rescue a single male rabbit. There is only one way to enable a social life: neutering. They will kill each other if there is a second male, and you will have babies all the time. That is only if there's a male and female there. A solitary life is far more sorrowful than just doing it. Do you really want to be the deontologicalist saying that this male has to suffer because neutering is evil in itself? Now, and this is the thing, is that to answer that one, now using other animals as assistance animals and all that, now from one perspective, that is problematic, because we as a society, and there's no money in funding science and funding mechanisms for people that rely on assistance animals to use something that's not an assistance animal. Why should they spend billions or millions of dollars, or however much it is, researching something that for example, I don't know what example to give, for visually impaired people? Why should they spend millions of doing that when there's a suitable here that might cost $5,000 a year, which is guide dogs? So this is the thing, is that I do not agree with the reliance on animals for assistance animals, because I think that it causes it views animals as a resource. So this is the thing, is that we're not going to invest in finding alternatives for for people who are visually impaired, because hey, they've got this resource here. So why should we spend more money developing this resource when we may not get a return on investment for decades to come, when there's already this resource there? So this is the thing, is that about that. Now, regarding the cats that get out and run back inside again, there is a thing called Stockholm Syndrome, where the person's in prison does start sympathising with their captor, and this is the thing, is that there are cats that want to get out all the time. There are dogs that want to get out all the time. I remember way back years ago when I had a dog there, rescue dog, by the way, not from a pet store. Talking to the people at the Animal Welfare League in Queensland, is that we were told that the dog was surrendered. He was surrendered because he kept getting out of the house that he was at. Now, we had him at home, and I spent a lot of time with the dog. Anytime I was home or going for a drive somewhere, if I could, he'd come with me. Obviously, if it was going shopping, you couldn't take him through shopping centre and all that sort of stuff. I did contemplate at the time of getting a training assistance animal, get one of those jackets and just walking through the places and all that sort of stuff. Never got round to that bit because sort of, I wasn't going to take it to that extreme. So anyway, going back to that, is that was the thing, is that, if we were home and we opened the gate, he would just get out and bolt. He would just go for a run. We had gas bottles changed one day, and up, we had two gates on the side of the house. So there's the main gate that we used, and there's a side gate where the gas bottles were. Anyway, gas bottles were changed, and then about 2 or 3 days later, I was out playing in the backyard with him, and being a black Labrador, he was just always pointing down the side, and didn't pay any attention to it for those days. Anyway, I think it was the 2nd or 3rd day later, he's still pointing down the sideway, and I said, "There's nothing down there." Anyway, he was pointing, and I thought, all right, let's see what's going on. Anyway, lo and behold, the gate's open. He'd been at home all by himself for all this time, and coming in and out of the driveway, I couldn't see it because there was a group of shrubs sort of blocking, so you couldn't see the gate from the street and coming up the driveway. You could only see that the gate was open from inside the backyard, and he would have seen it. He never ran away. For 3 days that the gate was open, he never ran away. Yet as soon as we went out into the backyard and opened the main gate, boof, he'd be gone. So, this is the thing, is that, there's some view it as, hey, they're getting out for their run. Oh, I believe that that's what they're doing. Some because they want to go and explore. Some because there's smells there. Yes, they'll come back. They will come back because they know this is where the food is. This is where the shelter is. This is where their companionship is. So, using, the cat's not going to run away as an example of that cats don't view being home and as, as a suburban prison is wrong, because this is what it is. What is a prison? Somewhere where you're locked up and you can't get out. Cats can't get out. Cats can't wander, and they shouldn't wander freely around the neighbourhood, because there's implications as well. Is that they may get hit by cars. They may go and kill other animals. So, what are you saying? The right to life of my cat is more important than the right to life of all these animals. And don't use the whole apex predator thing, because cats are an introduced species that are domesticated species, relatively domesticated species. So, we're introducing a cat, a non-native animal into that environment. So this is the whole thing, is that it's, it comes back down to it, is what's the rights violations that you're happy to accept? What's the level of suffering that you're happy to accept? For me, would I be happy to accept the neutering or the spaying of a rabbit, for example? And mind you, rabbits are illegal in Queensland, so I wouldn't actually have rabbits. Would I be happy to accept that, and then the continual confinement of the animal and all that sort of stuff, as opposed to the rabbit being relatively painlessly put down? Honestly, I can say it now because I'm not put in the situation, so I'm just making up whatever I want to. And this is the thing. People can say this because they're not in the situation. If it came time where I was one, that had to actually say yes or no to the animal being put down or rehomed or whatever, honestly, I'd be more inclined to say yes. It's probably better in the long-term interests of the animal, possibly to be euthanized. Who knows? So, anyway, this is the thing, and please, regardless of what it is, and as I've said before, Francione is not part. Francione is not part of this movement. He is not part. He does not speak for abolitionists. He's part of the counter movement. So his purpose is to undermine all the work that we're doing. So these videos, for example, that I'm trying to express ideas and information to other people, that is, counter to what he wants to do. He wants to undo all this work, and that's for all of his followers. And this is what they are. They're part of the counter movement. So this is the thing. Pet ownership is such a not a black and white thing. If you are comfortable with saying yes, I will keep that animal, and if the animal's an old cat and cannot have a plant-based product, so you find it comfortable, say, feeding the animal chicken or fish or whatever, then that's entirely up to you. For myself and my perspective is that no, pardon me, I don't agree with it, because a rights violation is a rights violation. There's no good, bad, or otherwise. What else is there? That was all with that one. Just having a look at some other comments that other people have left, and I think I might leave it at this one. Please, I'm not, I'm not a theorist. I'm not an ethicist. I'm not a law professor or anything like that. I'm just an average person on YouTube. Been vegan for 23 years, 24 years now. I believe I have a decent understanding of this. I'm not going to be put in hypothetical situations, and I'm not going to be playing with gotchas and all that sort of stuff. So I'm just presenting information the way that I see it. Whether your mileage varies, it's entirely up to you. So yes, anyway, that's it. Let me know what your comments are below. Thank you for watching. My name's Cameron Blewett. This was another episode of Vegan Police TV. And remember, don't fear the vegan police. We're here to help.